Hey there, flower friend. My name is Kristen and I run both Shifting Roots and Shifting Blooms. And if you've been following my 100 Days, 100 Bouquets series, you know that I post those bouquets at lightning speed. So today we're just going to slow everything down and I'm going to talk with you about how I choose my colors, how I make my bouquets, and you'll just see here how everything happens in real time. I've done very minimal cuts. So enough chatting and preamble, and let's get into it. Today we're making hand-tied bouquets for my bouquet subscribers, and so I ordered in these dahlias from another flower farmer, Melissa Backroad Blossoms, and then everything else on the other side is stuff that I've already cut from my flower farm. So going in, I'm thinking everybody gets 4 dahlias and then 3 sunflowers. I'm going to do one bouquet with dahlias and no sunflowers, and another bouquet with just sunflowers so that people have a bit of choices if they don't like the mix. To make life a little bit easier for myself, I'm grouping the dahlias by ones that are either all the same or all really close in color, and then it just makes it easier to decide which sunflowers I think are going to look best with them. So you'll see in this one, I'm like really thinking about the sunflowers. Now, I won't think about it quite so much later, but right here what I'm doing is I'm just sort of looking at the centers of the sunflowers, and I'm trying to decide if I want the yellows with the brown centers or the yellows with the more yellowy centers. And I had also tried to see if the more reddish ones would look good, but in the end I decided on the sunflowers with the brown centers. And then now I'm trying to decide what my extra things are. So we're going in with the orac, and then we'll have a couple of cosmos. I'm kind of testing out what greens I want, if I like the mint better or I like the frosted explosion grass. And honestly, sometimes when I'm doing this, I do it a lot faster. I would actually say most of the time I do it a lot faster, but I had time, and the whole point of this was to kind of be slow. So that's what we're doing. I'm aiming for these bouquets to be around $40. However, because these are my subscribers, if I'm able to be generous, I like to be a little bit generous because these are the people who invested in my business sometimes in the dead of winter when like nothing else was going on. And so I appreciate that investment in my business and I want to pay it forward if I can. So now that I'm happy with how the colors look, it's time to put everything together. And so for these wrapped bouquets, and especially if I'm doing stuff with sunflowers, I like to have sort of one center spiky stem. So in this case, it's the orac. And then I'm just going to kind of wrap all of my main flowers around that stem. Are they going to sit perfectly? No, they are not. But I find that if I kind of start that way, it usually ends up going well. And so I just alternate my colors. Then once I've got my sunflowers and my dahlias set, I go in with my extra cosmos, my extra orac, and then I of course finish off with, what did I decide to use here? I can't even remember. Whatever greenery that is, that's what I'm finishing off with. I always end with my greens. There's the frosted explosion grass coming up. I was certain I'd use some, and as I'm voicing this over, I'm like, why do I not see any yet? But I guess I decided at the end. So after that, and I'm happy with the color palette, then I will cut my string. This is just like plain twine from the Floor Supply. I've often got stuff from dollar store. It doesn't really matter. Now, I don't know why for the life of me I did not cut my stems first. Like normally that's what I do. Maybe I was just nervous making this video a little bit, but there we go. I clue in, cut my stems, and then the bouquet will just go into the bucket when it's done. And I like to wrap all my bouquets at the end. I find it's just faster and more efficient if I make everything really quick and then I just wrap everything. And then when I have my helper Chastity, then she can be the one who wraps, and we just have a little bit more of an assembly line and we can get through everything a bit quicker. So now I believe I'm picking out more of the pink colors. I only had about 4 that were really this pinky tone, so I thought it would be a nice little contrast because I picked more peachy colors the first time. When I was harvesting, I had a few things of like the more pastel colors. So I decided, because we were doing pink and most of the other dahlias that I had were like more the orangey harvesty tones, that I would use those more pastel and brighter colors that just felt a little little bit more like summer in this bouquet. So I have some perennial phlox. You can see I'm picking up my snapdragons. I think these were the new light pink frappe ones from Johnny Select Seeds. I don't know. I've heard from other people that they were fantastic, but for me, my first round of them was absolutely horrible. This different succession of them was a little bit better, but I don't know. It's also just not a good Snapdragon year for me. So even this time we're not using sunflowers, we're still going in with the same kind of idea where we have that one central stem of Orac, and then I'm going to just put all of my dahlias around, and then I will fill in between the dahlias with other things. So first I'm going in with that perennial phlox so I can get that purple color kind of all over. Then next I'm going to do the snapdragons, and after that I'll finish up with the greens. Then once I've got that base in place, if it doesn't feel like this is a $40 bouquet, you know, if I count through the stems and it's just feeling a little light, again, because this is a subscriber bouquet, we can be generous. So I think I'm going to add in a little bit more Orac here, and that's about it. So we're just going to trim those ends off, wrap it all up with our twine, and then everything is ready for wrap. Now you guys always have questions about my wrapping paper, so I use Korean wrapping paper, and the reason why I don't use the normal like construction craft paper that everybody else uses is because just the way that I'm wrapping my bouquets, I find that my wraps always get wet when I use the craft paper, and it's just kind of really annoying, and I feel like it's not a good customer experience. Also, a lot of the other flower farmers where I live use the craft paper, so I also use the Korean wrapping paper just to help distinguish me and my brand. There are so many ways to do a wrap, but my favorite that I've landed on is I fold the paper in half kind of at an angle, and then I make a slit in the middle, fold those little bits up, and then I just wrap the wrap, making it like as open as possible. So that means I'm doing it pretty low down, which again is why that I don't use craft paper, because again, if you're wrapping that low down and you don't have super long stems, your stuff is going to get super wet. So here we're going in again. It's really the same process. I get my Korean wrapping paper off of Amazon. I am always aiming for under 25 cents a sheet when I'm looking. I've also looked into getting it wholesale, but at least in the quantities that I need, it's still actually cheaper to get it on Amazon, unfortunately, than to put in a wholesale order. But you never know. I've been increasing the amount of bouquets that I do every year, so maybe next year will be the year that it actually makes sense. As for colors, I prefer the pastels, but this package that I got last, there's a few bright colors in, so I'm going to test them out over fall and winter, see if I like them. Right now, my favorite is probably the peachy pink. I don't show it in this video, but I also got custom stickers made and I absolutely love them. I really wish that I had done it sooner. I got mine from Sticker U, but there are many other sticker companies that you can use. It's definitely not the only one. These stickers that I'm using, they're about 2 inches wide. I also ordered some that were 3 inches wide, and I actually think I prefer the 3-inch, but for me, this is just really a year of refining things. I think I've also like put a lot of spaghetti against the walls, so to speak. And now after this year, I know what things I want to cut, just some ways that I can make my business a little bit more efficient. Or if something doesn't really work for me and my family, like I think I finally have the confidence to say like, no, we can drop this or we can change it to be what it needs to be so that it actually does work out for us. So here are the bouquets that you can see. Oh, I guess you can see the sticker when I show the side part, but yeah, I really love how these turned out. My subscribers were super happy with them. I would love to hear in the comments, do you like this style of video where it's just slow? Because I can definitely make more of these. These are a lot easier for me. We'll see you in the next one, friends.